Charlotte was a waitress juggling long hours at a diner and the weight of financial struggles at home. As a single mother raising a young son, her days were filled with sacrifices, from skipping meals to save money to late nights cleaning up after customers. Life was a constant battle, with overdue bills piling up and the fear of falling further behind looming over her. Despite her exhaustion, she pressed on, driven by the hope of providing a better future for her son. One evening, as she worked her usual shift, Charlotte encountered a moment she would never forget. Toward the end of the night, she served an unexpected guest, Donald Trump. Known for his larger-than-life persona and polarizing reputation, Trump's presence immediately stirred whispers among customers and staff alike. However, Charlotte remained focused on her job, taking his order with the same professionalism she extended to everyone. During their brief interaction, Trump asked her about her life. Initially hesitant, Charlotte shared a glimpse of her reality, her long hours, her struggles to make ends meet, and her determination to care for her son. Trump listened attentively, offering words of encouragement that felt unexpectedly genuine. She wasn't used to being acknowledged for her hard work, and his words, though simple, stayed with her. At the end of his meal, instead of leaving a traditional tip, Trump handed her a coin, an unfamiliar piece of currency with his name etched on it. "Hold on to this," he said, his tone suggesting that it carried more value than it appeared. Charlotte, though confused, thanked him politely and slipped the coin into her pocket, unsure what to make of it. Later that night, when she had a quiet moment, she examined the coin more closely. It was a Trump coin, part of a recently launched cryptocurrency tied to Donald Trump's name. Unfamiliar with cryptocurrencies and skeptical of its worth, Charlotte decided to research it. What she discovered shocked her. The coin, despite being labeled a meme coin, had a significant market value and was gaining attention in the financial world. Charlotte didn't fully understand the implications yet, but the idea that this coin could hold the key to a brighter future planted a seed of hope in her mind. She tucked it away, thinking about Trump's parting words. Though her life felt unchanged in that moment, she couldn't shake the feeling that this coin might lead to something greater. For the first time in a long while, a spark of optimism flickered within her. After Donald Trump left the diner, Charlotte's co-workers couldn't stop talking about his visit. The small, quiet diner had suddenly become the scene of a once-in-a-lifetime encounter. Amidst the chatter and excitement, Charlotte mentioned the strange coin Trump had given her. Her co-workers were quick to dismiss it. "A meme coin? That's just play money," one of them said with a laugh. "He probably carries those around for fun." Another chimed in. "You should have asked for cash instead. At least that's real." Charlotte smiled faintly, unsure what to think. She didn't fully understand what the coin was or why Trump had given it to her, but his words echoed in her mind. "This might be worth more than you think." After her shift ended, Charlotte returned home, exhausted as always. But her curiosity about the coin grew. Once her son was asleep, she pulled out her phone and searched for information about Trump coin. The results were overwhelming. Headlines flooded her screen, describing the coin as a meme coin launched by Trump himself. Some articles criticized it as a gimmick, while others marveled at its unexpected rise in popularity. Charlotte read about how the coin had initially surged in value upon its release, reaching highs of $75 before settling around $39. She stared at the number, her heart skipping a beat. This tiny coin in her hand was worth $39? For someone like her scraping together every dollar to pay rent, that wasn't a small amount. Still, Charlotte was skeptical. She scrolled through forums and articles trying to understand the fluctuating nature of cryptocurrencies. Some people celebrated their gains, while others warned about the risks. It felt like a world far removed from her own, filled with jargon she didn't fully grasp. But one thing was clear. This coin wasn't just a novelty. It had real value. For a brief moment, Charlotte imagined what she could do with the money if she sold the coin. $39 wouldn't solve all her problems, but it could cover groceries for a week or pay a portion of her electric bill. She thought about selling it immediately, cashing in on its current value before it could drop again. But something made her hesitate. Trump's parting words played in her mind. "Hold on to this." As tired as she was, Charlotte couldn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, clutching the coin in her hand, torn between practicality and a faint, fragile hope that it could mean something more. What if its value increased again? What if this was her chance to break free from the cycle of struggle that had defined her life for so long? In the end, Charlotte decided to take a chance. She tucked the coin safely into a small box on her nightstand, deciding to wait and see what might happen. For the first time in months, she felt a glimmer of possibility. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep her holding on. The next morning, Charlotte woke up to the usual sound of her alarm clock. the same monotonous routine of another long day ahead. However, something nudged her to check her phone before getting out of bed. She hesitantly opened her search browser and typed in Trump coin value. Her eyes widened in disbelief as the screen displayed the latest figure, $75. Her heart raced. Could this really be happening? Just the night before, the coin was valued at $39, and now it had nearly doubled. She scrolled through the news, which was flooded with headlines about the Trump coin's unexpected surge. Social media was buzzing with excitement, with influencers, financial analysts, and everyday investors all speculating on the coin's rapid climb. Some praised Trump's marketing genius, while others dismissed it as a bubble waiting to burst. At the diner later that day, Charlotte couldn't keep her secret for long. Her coworkers, who had previously dismissed the coin as a joke, now looked at her with envy and curiosity when she mentioned its rising value. "Wait, you're telling me that little coin is worth $75 now?" one of them exclaimed, her voice a mix of disbelief and regret. "You're sitting on a gold mine, Charlotte." Charlotte didn't feel like she was sitting on a gold mine just yet. The coin's value was undeniably tempting, but it was still a meme coin, a type of cryptocurrency known for its unpredictability. She couldn't afford to make the wrong decision. If she sold the coin now, it could give her immediate relief: groceries, gas, a few bills paid off. But what if the value kept climbing? Could she risk holding on to it for a bigger payoff? That afternoon, Charlotte took her lunch break to visit the local bank, where she spoke to a financial advisor. She placed the coin carefully on his desk, her palms sweating as she explained her situation. The advisor adjusted his glasses, his expression a mixture of intrigue and caution. "Charlotte, I have to be honest with you," he said. "Meme coins are incredibly volatile. They can rise just as fast as they fall. But if the market speculation is right and Trump keeps promoting it, there's a chance this coin could go even higher." His words echoed in her mind as she walked back to the diner. The possibility of the coin's value increasing filled her with cautious optimism. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to imagine what her life could look like if this gamble paid off. She thought of her son, who had been wearing the same pair of worn-out shoes for weeks. She pictured herself fixing her old, unreliable car and paying off the mounting stack of overdue bills sitting on her kitchen counter. By the end of the day, Charlotte made a decision. She would wait. As risky as it felt, something deep within her told her to hold on to the coin a little longer. She tucked it safely back into the box on her nightstand that evening, whispering a silent prayer. For the first time in a long time, hope didn't feel so distant. It felt within reach. A week passed, and Charlotte's routine remained the same: long shifts at the diner, tired evenings at home, and stolen moments of quiet where she thought about the Trump coin resting in the small box on her nightstand. Every day she checked its value, her heart racing as the numbers shifted. Then, one evening, as she scrolled through the news on her phone, she froze. The headline read, "Trump coin surges to $150 after Trump calls it a symbol of success." Her breath caught in her throat. $150. The coin had doubled in value again, and the world was watching. Social media was ablaze with speculation, and analysts debated whether this was the peak or just the beginning. Charlotte's hands trembled as she stared at the screen. The coin in her possession could now bring her enough money to cover her overdue rent, buy new clothes for her son, and finally repair the car she had been patching together for years. But along with the excitement came a wave of fear. What if the value plummeted tomorrow? What if this was her only chance to cash in, and she lost it all by holding out too long? She felt trapped between her cautious instincts and the glimmer of hope that had kept her going. That night, as she prepared dinner for her son, a simple meal of macaroni and cheese, Charlotte couldn't stop thinking about the coin. The kitchen was warm and quiet, but her mind raced with questions. Her son, Jack, sat at the small kitchen table scribbling on a piece of paper. He looked up suddenly, breaking her train of thought. "Mom," he asked, his voice soft but curious, "are things ever going to get better for us?" The question hit her like a weight she wasn't ready to carry. Charlotte set the pot down and turned to him, forcing a smile. "Of course, sweetheart," she said, her voice wavering. "We're going to be okay." But inside she felt a pang of guilt. She wanted to give him more, to provide a life where he never had to wonder about such things. After dinner, Charlotte tucked Jack into bed. He held his favorite stuffed animal, the seams worn from years of love. As she leaned down to kiss his forehead, he whispered, "You're the best mom ever." Tears welled up in her eyes as she walked back to the living room. She sat on the couch, staring at the box on the nightstand that held the coin. Trump's words echoed in her mind. Hold on to this. It might be worth more than you think. Charlotte thought of every sacrifice she had made, skipping meals so Jack could eat, walking to work when her car broke down, and countless sleepless nights worrying about bills. This coin felt like a lifeline, a chance to rewrite their story. Her heart ached with the weight of the decision, but in that moment, her resolve hardened. She wasn't ready to give up on hope just yet. Taking a deep breath, Charlotte whispered to herself, "Just a little longer." With that, she placed the coin back into the box, determined to see where this journey would lead. For the first time in years, the fear of uncertainty was outweighed by the promise of something better. 2 weeks passed, and Charlotte's life remained a delicate balance of hope and uncertainty. Every day she checked the value of the Trump coin, watching as it climbed steadily. Then, one morning, as she scrolled through her phone over a cup of lukewarm coffee, she froze. The number on the screen made her gasp, $250. Overnight, the value had skyrocketed, thanks to a tweet from tech billionaire Elon Musk, calling it a cultural phenomenon with untapped potential. Charlotte sat in stunned silence, the gravity of the moment sinking in. She held the coin in her hand, its metallic surface glinting under the kitchen light. This wasn't just a coin anymore. It was her lifeline. The value it held could change everything. But she hesitated, her heart pounding. What if she waited too long and the value dropped? What if this was her one chance to rewrite her and Jack's story? After dropping Jack off at school, Charlotte walked into the local library and sat down at one of the public computers. She logged into a cryptocurrency exchange she had created an account for earlier. Her hands shook as she navigated the unfamiliar interface, the realization of what she was about to do weighing heavily on her. She took a deep breath and clicked sell. Within moments, the transaction was complete. After fees and taxes, Charlotte stared at the final amount deposited into her bank account, $225,000. She covered her mouth as tears streamed down her face, her body trembling with the weight of what this meant. For so long, she had fought just to survive. Now, for the first time, she could breathe. Charlotte's first call was to her landlord. She paid off all her overdue rent and secured the next 6 months. Then she contacted a local real estate agent and started looking for a small house in a safe neighborhood, a place Jack could finally call home. She paid off her car repairs and set up a college savings account for Jack. Every decision she made came with a sense of relief and joy, the kind she hadn't felt in years. A week later, Charlotte returned to the diner, but this time, not as a waitress. Dressed in a new outfit and with her head held high, she walked through the doors with a box of envelopes. One by one, she handed generous tips to her coworkers, thanking them for their support during her toughest times. Some cried, others hugged her, and all were stunned by her transformation. Finally, Charlotte visited a local children's charity and donated a portion of her newfound wealth. "This is for families like mine," she said, her voice breaking. "No one should feel like they're fighting alone." That night, as she tucked Jack into bed in their new home, he looked up at her with a smile. "Mom, are we really going to be okay now?" he asked. Charlotte kissed his forehead, tears of gratitude filling her eyes. "Yes, sweetheart," she whispered. "We finally are." Charlotte's life-changing story didn't stay quiet for long. A week after cashing in the Trump coin, she shared her journey on social media, starting with a heartfelt post about the moment Donald Trump handed her the coin. She described her struggles as a single mother, the skepticism she felt about the coin's value, and the hope that had grown as its worth steadily climbed. The post was raw, filled with gratitude and vulnerability, and it struck a chord with readers. Within hours, it began to gain traction, shared by thousands of people who were inspired by her resilience. News outlets quickly picked up the story. Headlines like, "Trump's coin changes a waitress's life," and "How one coin sparked a new beginning" began circulating online. Reporters reached out to Charlotte, eager to hear more about how a single act of generosity had transformed her life. Though she was initially overwhelmed by the attention, Charlotte agreed to a few interviews, hoping her story might inspire others who were struggling. "Donald Trump didn't just give me a coin," she told one reporter during a live segment. "He gave me an opportunity, a chance to dream again, to believe that life could get better." Her voice trembled as she added, "I hope my story shows people that even the smallest gestures can have the biggest impacts." The story soon reached Donald Trump himself, who addressed it during a press conference. When asked about Charlotte, he smiled and said, "That's the power of Trump coin. It's not just about money, it's about creating opportunities for people to succeed." Charlotte's story is proof that a little faith can go a long way. His remarks reignited discussions about the controversial cryptocurrency, but for many, Charlotte's story overshadowed the criticism. Inspired by Charlotte's journey, others began sharing their experiences with Trump coin. A young entrepreneur posted about how he used the coin's profits to fund his startup, while a retired teacher shared how it helped her pay off medical bills. Social media buzzed with hashtags like Trump coin success and Our Hope in Action, creating a ripple effect of positivity around what had once been dismissed as a meme coin. Charlotte, meanwhile, focused on building a new life for her son. She used her newfound stability to enroll in night classes, determined to further her education and secure a better future for her family. She also began volunteering at a local shelter, wanting to give back to the community that had supported her through difficult times. "I've been given so much," she explained to a volunteer coordinator. "Now it's my turn to help." The story came full circle as Charlotte and her son moved into their new home. It was modest but cozy, filled with warmth and the promise of a fresh start. As they walked up the front steps for the first time, Jack ran ahead, his laughter echoing through the neighborhood. Charlotte paused for a moment, taking it all in. The home, the happiness, the hope that now filled their lives. Tears welled up in her eyes, but this time, they weren't from fear or exhaustion. They were tears of gratitude and joy. For the first time in years, Charlotte felt like life was hers to shape, and all it took was one unexpected gift. If this story inspired you, take a moment to reflect on how you can bring hope to someone's life. Small acts of generosity can create ripples that reach far beyond what you imagine. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting stories that showcase the strength of humanity and the magic of second chances. Let's spread kindness together, one story at a time.